Hello and welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday. Today we're doing this fun little door with the vines creeping over the top and some flowers. Make this your own, change the colors, whatever you want. I wanted mine to be pretty bright and colorful this time. So to do this painting we will need 5 stamps. We will need from the door set this end door. From the foliage set, nope. Hello and welcome to another Watercolor Wednesday. Today we're going to be painting this fun little door with the vines and flowers. Change this up with your own colors, different flowers, whatever you have. I wanted mine to be kind of bright and colorful, so I went with this palette of colors. So use whatever you have and however you want to make it. So for this painting we will need from the door set this excuse me, this door on the end. From the flower 2 set we're going to use this little bunch of flowers right there. From the original flower set we're going to use the little daisy bunch and this little grouping of petals. And then in the original foliage set, we're going to use this long vine here. So this will be a 4 by 4 painting. And the colors that we will use to create this painting, at least if you do what I did, will be number 86 African Violet, number 45 Sepia, number 83 Butterscotch, number 94 Scarlet, number 42 Cream Yellow, number 15 Olive Green, and number 31 Pale Violet. So let's get started. So we're gonna start with our door and we're just gonna ink it in one color. We're gonna start with African Violet. So ink the whole thing. And then I'm going to be careful over here by the doorknob. I don't want to do that entire knob that it has on the stamp. I just kind of want the center section of the actual handle. So let me kind of just, okay. And then what I'm also going to do is on this side of the stamp, I'm just gonna kind of wipe a section or two off where I want my vine to kind of, and then on top where I want the vine to kind of go over the door. So we're just gonna stamp this right in the center, press it down, and then we will pull the color out of the lines like we normally do. So it's going to be dark under the molding up here. Kind of paint a little bit up on there for like a shadow from the flowers. And then we'll come down. It'll be darker, you know, we're kind of under the door here. Across the front of the little step. too wet here. And then we'll just kind of, I'm going to touch the hinges, but I'm going to come where the door meets the wood, right where the doors touch together. We'll kind of go up that whole line. Rotate your painting, you know, do it however you need to do it so you can paint it. You're not restricted. You don't have to stay in a, you know, certain way. Do what you need to do. Okay, let's paint a little bit over here since we'll have the vines kind of covering. We'll create a shadow on the wood. Under the windows. If you want, you can even, like I left mine a white door, but you could paint that a fun color too if you'd rather paint that a color. And then for the windows, I'm going to pull colors out here. I'm actually going to be painting the whole window in, but just to kind of help here with the general coloring of the window. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of pull out the color there. Okay. Let's do a little bit over here too. Okay, so next we're going to actually go ahead and paint in the window. So just straight African violet. We'll give it one coat. So down here, we're going to paint the entire window pane. And then for up top, we're going to make a little curtain in the window. So we will take a pencil. You can do it straight across. You can do like V kind of curtains, however you want to do it. And this one, I did cute little, like, it's kind of hard to tell, but I tried to make a scallop curtain. This time I think I'm going to do it from kind of corner to corner and just kind of pull it down here. Swoop it that way. So then I will just paint this like intersection here. Where it would be, you know, dark looking into the house type of deal. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit. And then we're gonna work on our vines and flowers next. So we're actually gonna start with our bottom flowers. We're going to ink this one up in two colors. We're going to do the number 94 Scarlet will be the blooms. And then the stems will be the olive green. So we're going to stamp it kind of on both sides of the door. Stamp it a couple times, go as high as you like, you know, make it go in front of the door. Try not to get it on the step itself. If you're uncomfortable, you can take a piece of Post-it tape and tape over that so you don't, you know, get it on the step section, since this is technically kind of like growing in the ground. But you can cover the door with it. So again, we're gonna kind of stamp a few times here. I'm gonna make that one tall. Okay. And then I'm not gonna add water quite yet. We'll come and add the water here in a few minutes. We're gonna move on to our vine now. And with the vine, we're also gonna do the olive green and ink the entire vine up. So I'm going to start above the door and work my way over just to kind of figure out how I want to place it. So I'm going to stamp it a couple times before I re-ink, and just kind of like moving the vine around the door. You know, if in one section you're like, oh, you know, I want it to come this way, just turn your stamp. Add some vine going that way. Don't ink the whole thing. You know, it's totally up to you. I'm going to add just a little bit even coming kind of up behind this guy, just to add some green over there. And then I'm going to kind of flip a little section out this way. Okay. So, and then again, before we ink, I'm going to go ahead and add my orange flowers. So I have the little daisy bunch. I'm only going to color like half of it. And then wherever I want to add, you know, the bright pop of orange, I'm going to add the little daisy bunch. So kind of over the door, you know, fill in any gaps that you think need to be filled in. Add some flowers wherever you want to add some flowers, wherever you want to add some color. Add as much or as little as you want. I say that all the time. Make this your own. Okay. So now we're going to do color. So I'm going to start with all of my green. So for these down here, I'm going to brush them like, you know, up or down. Stick with the shapes of, you know, the line of the grass, or sorry, the stem. Okay, and then for the vine, I'm going to dab like we normally dab. And make sure you leave your white space. Blend it out if you want to blend it out. Add, you know, add more over the door, however you want to do it here. You can always go back and add more. Like if you know, stamp some more in if you aren't happy with how something looks. If you think, oh, that section's a little too bare, then just get whatever stamp and add something in there. Okay, and now we'll do the flowers. So I'll start down here with the pink and dab. Spread that out a little bit. From the door, not that way. Okay, I'll rinse my brush before I do the orange because that pink is pretty saturated color. And then I'll come up and do my orange. Okay, so before we move on to anything else, we're going to come back to our windows here and give them another quick coat of Akron Violet. Make them a little darker here. And then we will also go ahead and paint our curtains in. So I am painting my curtains in light violet. You can paint them in the orange, you can paint them in yellow, whatever color you want to do them in. Okay, so there's a coat of my purple. So now our last stamp we're going to do are these little gathered blooms. I'm not really sure what you would call them, but we are going to use them as like pebbles on the ground. So I'm going to use my sepia and paint the whole thing, and then I'm going to stamp it below down here multiple times before I re-ink and make it look, you know, like you step out on a little pebble patio, or, you know, whatever you want to say. Okay, so, and then for that, we're just going to dip our brush in water and dab around. Soften the colors. I accidentally had way too much water drip right there, but we're gonna let it dry for now, and then I'll come back with my stamp one more time. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit more color here on my palette. We're gonna go over our windows again. You can leave some streaks. It's like a reflection on the windows. And then I'm going to come back and paint my violet in again here. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of my African violet and kind of just add like a touch of shadow to that. Okay, I think my dots on here are dry, so I'm gonna just kind of go back again, because like I said, I accidentally dripped too much water right there. Thought I got it off my brush and I did not, so. And then I'll just kind of. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my African violet on the little thin side, and I'm going to kind of just color in the doorknob, kind of leaving like a little tiny shadow there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the hinges. We're going to color in those hinges and make them darker. And then anywhere that you think, so that maybe like below the window here, maybe a little bit darker. Maybe that piece of molding. The door. So sometimes when you come back with the thin tip, it just adds so much dimension, and like things just then like really pop off the page. Okay, so for the background, you don't have to do anything. You can just leave it as is right now. I'm gonna make a little color behind it, as you know, as like you see the color of the house or building. So this is where I'm gonna put the creamy yellow, number 42 on my palette, and I'm just gonna kind of, it's super light. You can do a deeper color. You can do like a pretty blue. You can even just use that African violet really watered down. And I'm just gonna touch a little bit here and there. I don't need the whole background colored, because I don't, you know, it's just the illusion of here's the house. So I'm just gonna kind of add the creamy yellow. I'm gonna do just a tiny bit up here. It's hard to see. I don't even know if you'll be able to see on the camera. And then I'm gonna go, back over a spot to kind of make it darker. But that's all. That's all I'm gonna do. Okay. And then lastly, I'm gonna take a white Signal Uniball pen, and in this one I added polka dots to my curtains, but this time, I don't know, we'll change it up. We're gonna add some stripes. So we're just gonna add some fun little stripes. You can leave them plain. You can add the polka dots, whatever you want to do. Just kind of add a little fun, and then I'm gonna just kind of draw in what would be like the reflection streaks like on the windows. And there you have it. We're gonna sign and date. And there's our fun little window scene. Frame it. This is a 4x4. Throw it in a card, on a card, put a little thinking of you, however you want to do it. Be a perfect little gift. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.